Thank you, Madam Chair. I think, and this really isn't addressed to you three, although you're part of this enterprise, I think those of us that are engaged in this issue have to do a better job of communicating to the public the importance of the modernization. I met with a group of Maine people yesterday who basically said, why are we spending all this money? Is it another nuclear arms race? And by the way, 6% of the budget is $42 billion a year. This is not insignificant. You could do a lot of Head Start slots for $42 billion a year. I mean, there are a lot of other important priorities. So this is just a comment that I think the Defense Department and the strategic people have to really communicate with the public about this, because this is a major commitment. You know, I had this discussion yesterday, as I said, with a group of people that were very skeptical, and I said we've got to have you used the right word, credible deterrent, and that's the whole rationale for the modernization. But I think the case has to be made. What's the incremental value that we're getting for that $42 billion over and above what we have now? And I hope you'll take that back. As I say, that's not really a question, but I think it's very important as we go into this next year and this budget cycle. Admiral Caldwell, you're now developing and have developed nuclear propulsion capability that has a longer life. Have you ever done a calculation of what that saves us over the long haul? In other words, not having to refuel, having a longer life on a submarine, for example. It strikes me that's a sort of hidden savings that I think is important to quantify.
Yes, sir. We have done some of those calculations. For example, well, first off, we always try to build on technology to improve what we're delivering to the fleet. And over the life of the program, we've been able to deliver reactor cores that are life of the ship cores. In fact, every submarine we're building today has a life of the ship core. And the carriers have a 25-year core, and they get refueled once in life. The ability to have a core in the Columbia submarine that lasts over 40 years will allow us to do the mission with 12 submarines versus the 14 today.
So that's a huge savings right there.
That's a huge saving, and we think that is about $40 billion over the life, total ownership of the program. Now, there are cost savings in other ways too. So, for example, if you look at the Ford aircraft carrier, we designed that reactor plant with 25% more energy in the core, 3 times the electrical generation capacity. We were able to take out roughly 30% of the required maintenance in the propulsion plant, and we were able thereby to reduce the manning in the propulsion plant by about 50%. So if you take that figure and you add that up over 11 carriers or 12 carrier force is what the Navy wants, and you do that for the lifetime, that's real money. And if you take all those kind of cost-saving measures that are in the Ford, it's about $80 million per year per carrier. So that's real money. And so we're focused on not only delivering quality, but seeing if can we manufacture these things cheaper, easier, and can we do it so that it's affordable from a total ownership cost.
Thank you. That's important, and I think there are other areas as well. And we could talk about the Truman, but that's another topic. Secretary White, this is an issue I keep raising in Energy and Natural Resources, and here, waste. You all have developed waste disposal techniques and technologies. Can you please help us on the civilian side? Because this is the unanswered question with regard to nuclear power. We had a bill in Energy and Natural Resources to promote nuclear power. It's fossil-free. It has a lot of positives, but we still haven't answered the waste question that's been pending for now about 70 years. Your thoughts?
So Yucca Mountain is not within my purview, but I would have to vehemently agree with you that in order to sort of support the viability of commercial nuclear power, the waste question needs to get solved. And we also have to be able to decommission these facilities effectively, and both in terms of safety and cost.
What we have now are effectively 100 or so high-level nuclear waste sites scattered all over the country. We have one in Maine. What I hope you can do is share some of your expertise and and poke the department, because this is a question that is really impeding our national policy, I think.
I agree with you totally, and I will definitely take that back to the
Thank you.
department.
Yeah, pass it back to my friend Governor Perry. He'll know who it's coming from when I say Governor Perry.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.